Good morning students. Today we are going to see about Unit 4 poem The Ant and the Cricket. It is adapted from Aesop's Fables. Now let us see about the poet. Aesop's Fables is a collection of fables credited to Aesop. It is a collection of fables credited to Aesop, a slave and a storyteller believed to have lived in ancient Greece between 620 and 564 BCE. These fables became popular when they emerged in print. Several stories are attributed to Aesop even today. The process of inclusion is continuous and new stories are being added. Collections of Aesop's fables were among the earliest books to be printed in many languages. Now let us see what is a fable. A fable is a traditional story that teaches us a moral lesson. Fable is a story that teaches us a moral lesson. The characters in the fables are animals and birds. Okay, the characters in the fables are animals and birds. Now, let us see the theme of the poem. This poem. Okay, now in this poem, we are going to see about the two insects, the ant and the cricket. Okay, in this poem teaches us the importance of hard work and planning. This poem teaches us the importance of hard work and planning. Now let us see the first stanza. A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing through the warm, sunny months of gay summer and spring, began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. In this stanza, the poet describes the nature of the cricket. Okay, that is, the poet says that the silly young cricket sings all through the spring and summer. Yes, what is meant by gay? Gay means happy. So that is glad, joyful. Okay. Yes, the cricket sings joyfully through the spring and summer. And when the winter arrives, he finds that his cupboard is empty. Okay, when the winter arrives, he finds that his cupboard is empty. There is nothing in his cupboard. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground. Not a flower could he see. Not a leaf on a tree. In this second stanza, the poet describes the nature and suffering of the cricket. Nature and suffering of the cricket. The cricket found no food. Okay, the cricket found no food and not a crumb. Crumb means a piece of bread. Okay, the ground is covered with snow. Why? Because it is a winter season. So the ground is covered with snow. And there is not a single flower. Okay, there is not a single flower. And not a single leaf he could see. He could not see a single leaf. He is worried of his survival. He worries of his survival. The third stanza. Oh, what will become, says cricket, of me, at last by starvation and famine, made bold, all dripping with wet, and all trembling with cold. Away he set off to a miserly ant, to see if, to keep him alive, he would grant. In this stanza, the poet says, that is, he describes the sufferings of the cricket. Okay, in this stanza, the poet says that the cricket is starving. What is mean by starving? That is, starvation means, starving means patini. Patiniya இருக்குது. Okay, he becomes wet. He becomes wet and he trembles in cold. He becomes wet and he trembles in cold, and then the cricket goes to the miserly ant. What is mean by miserly? Hesitant to spend money. That is, அது என்ன பண்ணாது, பணமே கொடுக்காது. அதாவது எந்த ஒரு பணம் கொடுத்து எதையும் வாங்கக்கூடாது, அதுவாகவே என்ன பண்ணிக்கும், அதோட தேவைகளை செஞ்சுக்கும். Okay, then the cricket goes to a miserly ant. He hopes that the ant will give him food and shelter to keep him alive. Yes, the cricket hopes that the ant will give him food and shelter to keep him alive. Okay. Yes. In the fourth stanza, him shelter from rain and a mouth full of grain. He wished only to borrow. He had repay it tomorrow. The poet says he hopes that the ant will give him food and shelter to keep him alive. Here the poet is saying that the cricket hopes that the ant will give him food and shelter to keep him alive. The cricket wishes just to borrow it and later he plans to repay it to the ant. Okay, in this stanza the cricket just wishes to borrow something, borrow it from the ant, and later he plans to repay it to the ant. Okay. If not, he must die of starvation and sorrow. Says the ant to the cricket, I am your servant and friend, but we ants never borrow and we ants never lend. Okay, the ant tells the cricket, I am your best friend and servant, but ants never borrow or lend anything. Okay, here the ant tells to the cricket that he was his best friend and servant too, but ants, they won't borrow or lend anything to others. But tell me, dear cricket, did you lay anything by when the weather was warm? Quoth the cricket, not I. Okay, here the ant asks the cricket, during summer, did you store anything for this winter? And the cricket replied, no. Quoth means say. Okay, reply. And the cricket replied, no. The ant asked that he stored anything, that is, did he store anything for this winter? The ant replied, no. My heart was so light that I sang day and night, for all nature looked gay, for all nature looked gay. You sang, sir, you say. The cricket replies, no, I did not store anything for winter. My heart was happy to you see the whole bright nature, and so I sang all through the day and night. The ant becomes angry and tells the cricket, you spend the whole summer and in the same way dance the winter away. What the cricket replies, no, I didn't store anything for winter. My heart was happy to see the whole bright nature, and so I sang all through the day and night. The ant becomes angry. When hearing this, the ant becomes angry and tells the cricket, you spend the whole summer by dancing, and in the same way dance the winter away. Okay. Here the poet describes the sarcastic reply of the ant to the lazy cricket. Now let us see the 7th stanza. Go then, says the ant, and dance the winter away. Thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket, and out of the door turned the poor little cricket. Folks call this a fable. I will warrant it true. Some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. The ant, in this stanza, the ant closes the doors in a hurry. ரொம்ப வேகமா, hastily means hurry. He closes the door in a hurry and sent the poor cricket away by telling it to dance the whole winter. Some people say that it is only a story. Some people, they will say that it is only a story. I will also guarantee it. That is, warrant means guarantee it. But some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2 legs. In this 7th stanza, the poet says that we should plan for our future. Yes, in this last line, the poet says some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. That is, the 2 legs refers to the people who are lazy and do not plan for their future. Okay, so he says, as he advises us to plan for our future. We have to plan for our future. Conclusion. The poet wants us to plan for our future. Okay, what is the moral of this story, that is of this poem? Make hay while the sun shines. Make hay while the sun shines. That is, காற்றுள்ள போதே தூற்றிக்கொள். Second one is, hard work never fails. It is, கடின உழைப்பு என்றும் தோற்காது. So we have to work hard. Okay, and we have to plan for our future. Now let us see about the rhyme scheme. See the first stanza and you have to see all the last words. That is, you have to check the sounds of last words in the 4 lines. See, in the first line, you can see sing. In the second line, spring. And third line, home. Fourth line, come. So, what is the rhyme scheme here? A, A, B, B. What is the rhyme scheme here? A, A, B, B. Okay. And see the second stanza. And see the first line, last word, found. Second line, ground. And in the third line, sea. Fourth line, tree. So, what is the rhyme scheme here? Found, ground, sea, tree. So, the rhyme scheme is A, A, B, B. Okay. The rhyme scheme of the second stanza is also A, A, B, B. And see the third stanza. See the first line and the last word, me. And second line, bold. And third line, cold. And fourth line, ant. And in the fifth line, grand. Okay. So, what is the rhyme scheme of this stanza? A, B, B, because second and third lines last word have the same sound. So A, B, B, C, C. So this is the rhyme scheme of the third stanza. And fourth stanza. See the fourth stanza. First line, we can see rain. Okay, rain is the last word. And in the second line, grain is the last word. And in the third line, borrow is the last word. And in the fourth line, tomorrow is the last word. So, what is the rhyme scheme here? Rain, gain, borrow, tomorrow. So, the rhyme scheme is A, okay, B, B. The rhyme scheme of the fourth stanza is A, B, B. Okay. In the sixth stanza, see the first line. In the first line, the last word is light. And in the second line, the last word is night. Third line, gay. And in the fourth line, gale. And in the fifth line, say. Okay, here you can find the rhyme scheme. See in the first line, light. Second line, night. Third line, gay. Fourth line, gay. And in the fifth line, say. So, what is the rhyme scheme here? A, B, B, B. Okay. See, in the seventh stanza, see the first line, last word, away, wicket, cricket. And the fourth line, true. And in the fifth line, two. In the seventh stanza, see the first line, last word, away. And in the second line, wicket. Third line, cricket. Fourth line, true. Fifth line, two. So, what is the rhyme scheme here? Away, wicket, cricket, true, two. So, away, A, wicket and cricket have the same sound. So, B, B. A, B, B, true, two. C, C. So, what is the rhyme scheme? A, B, B, C, C. These are the rhyme scheme of the seventh stanza. Now, let us see the figure of speech mentioned in this poem. See the third stanza, fourth line. Away he set off to a miserly ant. Okay, here we can see the cricket goes to a miserly ant. That is, they are attributing the human characteristic features with the insect. ஓகேவா, ஒரு ஹியூமன் பீயிங் செய்யக்கூடிய ஒரு வேலையை ஒரு இன்செக்ட் செய்யுது அப்படின்ற மாதிரி சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. ஸோ த ஃபிகர் ஆஃப் ஸ்பீச் மென்ஷன்ட் ஹியர் இஸ் பர்சானிஃபிகேஷன். ஓகே, அதாவது ஹியூமன் பீயிங்ஸ் தான் என்ன பண்ணும், ஒருத்தங்கிட்ட போய் ஹெல்ப் கேட்கும். பிளான்ஸோ அனிமல்ஸோ அதெல்லாம் வந்து ஹெல்ப் கேட்காது, ஆனால் அது மாதிரி கேட்குது அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. ஸோ தே ஆர் அட்ரிபியூட்டிங் த human characteristic features with the plants, insects, எது வேணாலும் நம்ம எடுத்துக்கலாம், அல்லது நான் லிவிங் திங்ஸ், இது எல்லாமே சொன்னோம் அப்படின்னா அதோட ஃபிகர் ஆஃப் ஸ்பீச் என்னது? பர்சானிஃபிகேஷன். ஸோ in the third stanza, the fourth line, okay, what is the figure of speech of the fourth line? Personification. Okay. Yes, here you can see the fifth stanza. Fifth stanza, fifth line. But we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. Here you can see the words never, never. Okay, never borrow, never lend. So here you can see never means இல்லை அப்படின்னு, சரியா? நாங்கள் யார்கிட்டையும் பாரோ பண்ணவும் மாட்டோம், யாருக்கும் கொடுக்கவும் மாட்டோம் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. ஸோ நெவர் நெவர் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நெவர் பாரோ நெவர் லெண்ட் அப்படின்ற மாதிரி கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஸோ அது மாதிரி கொடுத்துருக்காங்க அப்படின்னா தட் இஸ் ஆப்போசிட் வேர்ட்ஸ் வந்தது அப்படின்னா அது வந்து ஆக்சிமோரன். சரியா? ஆப்போசிட் வேர்ட்ஸ் வந்தது அப்படின்னா அது oxymoron. What is the figure of speech? Here, oxymoron. Borrow, borrow the opposite another lend. So, borrow, lend. You can see the opposite words here. So, what is the figure of speech of this stanza? Oxymoron of this line. But we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. What is the figure of speech of this line? Oxymoron. Okay, oxymoron. Oxymoron means it describes about the opposites. Borrow, lend. Okay. Then the next one is, here you can see never, never again. ஸோ ஒரே வேர்டு மறுபடியும் ரிப்பீட் ஆகுறதுனால இதை நம்ம என்ன சொல்லலாம்? அனஃபோரா அப்படின்னு சொல்லலாம். ஒரே வேர்டு ரிப்பீட் ஆகுது. சரியா? ஒரே வேர்டு ரிப்பீட் ஆகுறதுனால we can say அனஃபோரா. ஸோ borrow, lend வந்திருக்கு அப்படின்னா that is oxymoron. never, never அப்படின்னு வந்திருக்கு அப்படின்னா that is anaphora. Then see the sixth stanza. What is the figure of speech mentioned here? See the sixth stanza. See the second line. That I sang day and night. That I sang day and night. Day and night. Here you can see the opposite words. Day or opposite night. Okay. So what is the figure of speech here? Oxymoron. Okay. What is the figure of speech here? Oxymoron. And see the third line and fourth line. Here you can see all the words are repeating again. Okay. For all nature looked gay. For all nature looked gay. Okay. And all the words are also repeating, and as well as the line, the third line is repeated again in the fourth line. So here what is the figure of speech? What is the figure of speech mentioned here? Anaphora or repetition. Anaphora அப்படின்றது words repeat ஆகுறது. அதே line repeat ஆகுது அப்படின்னா that is repetition. So what is the figure of speech mentioned in these two lines? Yes, anaphora or repetition. Okay. Then see, let us see the seventh stanza. See the last line. Some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. In this line, you can see the poet says that some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. 2 legs refers to the people who are lazy and do not plan for their future. Here, the poet compares the crickets and human beings, but without the words like and as. பொதுவாக வந்து இதில் வந்து என்னது கம்பேர் பண்ணுறாங்க. போயிட்டு வந்து கிரிக்கெட்டையும் பீப்புளையும் கம்பேர் பண்ணுறாங்க. பட் லைக் அஸ் எதுவுமே இல்லாமல் கம்பேர் பண்ணுறாங்க. கம்பேர் பண்ணி லைக் அல்லது அஸ் வச்சு வந்திருந்தது அப்படின்னா அங்கே ஃபிகர் ஆஃப் ஸ்பீச் வந்து சிமிலி. ஹியர் there is no like and as, but they are comparing crickets and human beings. So the figure of speech mentioned in the last line, some legs have 4 legs and some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. In this line, the figure of speech is metaphor. I hope you all understood. Thank you, students.